So as we have looked at the information we've done the last couple days, one of the biggest questions you can ask yourself is, where is the vertex of the angle that we are trying to find? So as you look at this first slide, right here is the vertex of the angle. That means that your vertex is on the inside of the circle. So as we're looking at this, the key for the inside, so we're looking at measure of angle 1, is pretend you're at angle 1 and you're looking directly in front of you and directly behind you. Those are the two arcs that you're focused on. So the measure of angle 1 is equal to, and it's going to be the average. So you're going to find the measure of arc AB. You're going to look at the measure of arc BC. And you're going to add them together and divide by 2. Or on the flip side, if you're looking at angle 2, if you're there looking here, that's going to be arc AB. And if you're looking directly behind you, it's going to be arc BC. So we have the measure of arc AB plus the measure of arc BC divided by 2. So again, it's the average of those two. So we look down below at number 1, and we're trying to find the angle AED. That is this angle right here. So again, if we're looking, we're going to use the 45 and we're going to use the 109. All we need to do is add those two together and divide by 2. So if we do 45 plus 109 divided by 2, you get a value of 77 degrees in your center. Okay, and the same thing for number 2, if we're looking at angle STR, that is this angle here. Again, we're going to use the angle in front and the angle behind. So for the arcs, excuse me, so you have 112 and 186 divided by 2. And you get a value of 149 degrees. Okay, so that's the basics. Now, when you look at a question like the next one, like number 3, YWX is right here. We don't have information about this arc, and we also don't have information about this arc. So instead, my recommendation would be to find the angle that I'm outlining here in blue. So I'm going to use the 43, I'm going to use the 81. So I have 43 plus 81 divided by 2. And so 43 plus 81 divided by 2 is going to get you a value of 62. But again, that's not the angle we want. That's this angle here. We want this angle. And so if you notice, these two together form a linear pair. So to find my actual angle, I'm going to do 180 minus that 62, which gives me 118 degrees. Okay, so if you look at number 5 down below, we're not going to do every single problem. If you look at number 5, we're asked to find CDE. So this is the part that we do not know. So I'm going to make this be X. So again, we have angle equals arc plus arc divided by 2. So if I'm looking at this angle, this is the part that I'm going to substitute in by itself. That's the 128. The arc in front is X. The arc behind is the 73. And now you have a little bit of algebra to do. So to solve, you're going to multiply each side by 2. And so you get a value of 256 equals X plus 73. Again, that only cancels out that denominator. And so then when we subtract that 73 out, we get a measure of 183 degrees for that arc. Okay? If we take a look at this one, this is another case of the angle being on the circle. So we've seen that before, where if we're looking at angle 1, okay, angle 1 is right there. Since this is on, it's going to be equal to half of this arc here. So it's going to be equal to half of the measure of arc AB. And on the flip side, if we look at angle 2, it is here, it is going to be half of this arc. So it's going to be equal to 1/2 times the measure of arc ACB, that major arc around the outside. So again, we're not going to do every problem. We're going to look here, we'll see what we can figure out. If you look at number 7, we've got DEG here. It forms this arc. Again, think about those angles as like arms. It's hugging this part here. So we're going to do 1/2 times 308, which gives me 154 degrees for that angle measure, and you are done. We're going to go ahead and come all the way over here to the right to number 9, and we're trying to find this arc here. Okay. What I would recommend, there's 2 different ways to do this, but I would say, what am I given? I'm given this angle right here. So to figure out this arc, To go from the angle to the arc, we're going to multiply by 2, which gets you 302 around the outside. That blue part is the remaining part of that circle, so I can do 360 minus that 302 to get me 58 degrees. Now, I could have also gone a different route and found the angle here first, and then doubled that to get to the arc. I still would have had the same answer. Moving on to exterior. So before, if we go back to here, okay, to do interior, we did arc plus arc divided by 2. So we added and divided by 2. If our vertex is on the outside, we're going to do the similar idea, but instead of it being added, now that we're on the outside, our arcs are going to be subtracted. So again, we're going to look here. We're going to subtract big arc and small arc. So the measure of angle A, the big arc is CE, the small arc is CD, and we divide by 2. So again, your general on the outside is big arc minus small arc divided by 2. Order matters because you cannot have a negative angle, so you have to do big minus small. Okay, so if you look at the next one, same idea. Here's my angle. The big arc is here, so the measure of BD minus the small arc that's inside there, BC, all divided by 2. And then the same thing here on this last one. The big arc, here's my intersection points. The big arc is here, so the measure of arc B, BC minus the small one on the inside, all divided by 2. So again, if that arc or the angle is on the outside, we are subtracting the arc. So again, we're going to do just a couple examples here. If we look at number 10, we've got, this is my big arc, this is my small arc here on the inside. So to find my angle, I'm going to just do big minus small divided by 2. So 140 minus 66 is going to get us a value of 74. So 74 divided by 2 gives us a value of 37 degrees. If we look down below at number 12, this here to here is my big arc. Notice my small arc doesn't have a measure, but if you notice those two combined give me a full circle. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 360 and 313 to get this arc here, which is 47. Now I can do 313 big arc minus small arc divided by 2. So I end up with a value of 133 when I do that math. Okay, so that is the general idea for some of these. Again, you have to kind of figure out what pieces it is that you are missing before you actually do the math. So if you guys have any questions, obviously just ask and I'd be happy to help. Thanks.